You know, there's something I've been thinking about lately. Have you ever found yourself sitting in a quiet house, maybe after the grandkids have gone home, or the phone hasn't rung all day, and thought, is this what the rest of my life looks like? Just me and these four walls? Let me tell you something. I've been there too. But here's the thing. What if I told you that feeling isn't a sign of loneliness? What if it's actually an invitation to something better? A chance to thrive in ways you might not have imagined? Now, I know what you're thinking. Thrive? Alone? At my age? Oh, absolutely. Because loneliness after 70, it's not some inevitable chapter of life. It's a myth we've been sold. And today, I want to share 5 surprising ways to not just manage being alone, but to truly flourish in it. To turn those quiet moments into something rich, meaningful, and yes, even joyful. Let's start with something simple but powerful. Rediscovering the joy of your own company. You see, we spend so much of our lives surrounded by noise, other people's needs, schedules, opinions. But there's a gift in solitude. It's the chance to reconnect with you. The you that might have gotten buried under decades of responsibilities. Think about it. When's the last time you asked yourself, what do I feel like doing today? Not what the grandkids want, not what the doctor recommended, just you. Take my neighbor Margaret. After her husband passed, she told me she'd sit for hours, staring at the walls, waiting for someone to call. Then one day, she dug out an old sketchbook she hadn't touched since high school, started drawing the birds outside her window. Nothing fancy, just pencil on paper. But you know what she said to me? It's like meeting an old friend I forgot I had. That's the magic here. Whether it's painting, gardening, or finally learning to play that harmonica in the drawer, solitude gives us room to breathe and create. Now, here's the second surprise. Solitude can be your greatest teacher. Remember when we were kids, and a timeout felt like punishment? Well, what if we reframe it? Think of solitude as a time in. A chance to listen to your thoughts without the world static. My friend Carl, he's 78, lives alone, started keeping a journal last year. Not a diary really, just jotting down one thing each day that made him pause. A quote from a book, the way the light hit his coffee cup, a memory that popped up out of nowhere. He told me, after 6 months, I realized, I'm not alone. I'm in conversation with my whole life. And that brings me to the quiet power of routine. Now, I'm not talking about rigid schedules. Goodness knows we've earned the right to ditch those. But structure? That's different. It's like building a trellis for a vine. My morning ritual? Coffee on the porch, listening to the birds. Just 10 minutes. No news, no phone. Just me and the sunrise. It's become my daily reminder. This time is mine. Yours might be an evening walk, baking bread every Tuesday, or reading poetry aloud, just because you like the sound of the words. These small anchors, they're not about filling time. They're about claiming it. Now, I can almost hear some of you saying, but what about the silence? The empty rooms? Ah, my friend, that's where the adventure begins. Because when we stop seeing solitude as a lack of something, we start noticing all it contains. The space to think, to remember, to imagine. Like that old oak tree in my backyard. Its branches spread wide because it's not crowded by other trees. Sometimes, growing into our fullest selves needs a little room. Now, we've only just begun. There's so much more to explore. But for now, I'll leave you with this. The next time you find yourself alone, try something. Pour yourself a cup of tea. Sit by the window and ask, what have I been waiting for permission to do? You might be surprised what answers come when you're truly listening. You know, there's a phrase I heard years ago that stuck with me. Solitude is the soil where life grows back. And isn't that the truth? After all those years of tending to others, raising families, building careers, we've earned this season of tending to ourselves. But here's the fourth surprise. Thriving alone doesn't mean going it completely alone. Let me explain. Think about your favorite book. You might have read it curled up alone in your favorite chair, but the story itself? It's a conversation with the author, with the characters, even with your younger self. That's the beauty of connection in this chapter of life. It's not about how many people fill your days. It's about how they fill them. My cousin Evelyn, bless her, lives in a tiny town up north. She's got a rotary phone and a mailbox at the end of her driveway. But every Thursday, she writes letters. Not emails, letters. To her granddaughter, to old coworkers, even to the editor of the local paper about the deer that keep eating her zinnias. She told me, when I drop that envelope in the box, I feel like I'm sending a little piece of myself out into the world, and the world always writes back. Now, I'm not saying you need to take up calligraphy, though if you want to, more power to you. The point is, you get to choose your conversations. And isn't that liberating? No obligatory family gatherings, no small talk at the grocery store just to fill the air. Every connection becomes intentional. Maybe it's a weekly phone call with a friend who makes you laugh until your sides hurt, or waving to the mail carrier who knows your name, even tending that little free library down the street, leaving a note in a book for a stranger. These moments, they're not about chasing companionship. They're about curating it. Which brings me to my fifth surprise, the freedom to reinvent. Yes, even now. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something for the first time? I'll bet it's been a while. We get so comfortable in our ways, don't we? But here's the secret nobody tells you. Solitude is the perfect playground for curiosity. No one's watching. No one's judging. Take my friend Arthur, 76 years young. Last winter, he bought a ukulele on a whim. Never played an instrument in his life. Now, he's got a YouTube channel teaching other seniors how to play. Says it's the most fun he's had since he retired. And the best part, he does it all in mismatched socks and a cowboy hat, just because it makes him smile. Now, reinvention doesn't have to mean grand gestures. It could be as simple as rearranging your living room furniture just because. Trying a recipe from a country you've never visited. Or even letting yourself daydream again. Remember daydreaming? That's how Ruth, a viewer like you, started her birdhouse business at 72. She'd sit on her porch, watching sparrows, and think, I wonder if they'd like a pink roof? Now she sells them at the farmer's market, not for the money, though that's nice, but because it tickles her to imagine birds appreciating her flair for design. Here's the thing, when we're alone, we're not missing out, we're opening up, to whims, to experiments, to the simple pleasure of being exactly who we are in any given moment. No explanations, no compromises, just you. And if that feels unfamiliar, well, that's okay. Think of it like breaking in a new pair of shoes. Except these shoes can take you anywhere. Now, I'd love to hear what you've been reinventing lately, or what you'd like to try. Drop a note in the comments. We're all learning from each other here. But before we finish up today, there's one last piece I want to share. Something that ties all these surprises together into a life that doesn't just feel full, but overflows. You know, as I sit here listening to the leaves whisper and watching this tea steam curl up into the air, it strikes me. This is what thriving alone feels like. Not some grand, noisy achievement, but a quiet certainty that you're exactly where you need to be. And that's the heart of it, isn't it? This journey we've been talking about, it's not about filling every silence, but embracing it as the backdrop to a life that's uniquely yours. Let's take a step back and think about Margaret, sketching birds in her sunlit kitchen, or Carl, filling his journal with fragments of a life well lived, Evelyn's letters flying out into the world like paper birds, and Arthur strumming his ukulele in mismatched socks, Ruth's pink-roofed birdhouses, charming both sparrows and neighbors. These aren't just stories, they're proof. Proof that solitude isn't an empty room, it's a canvas. And you, my friend, get to paint it with the colors of your choosing. Now, if there's one thing I hope you take from our time together today, it's this. Thriving alone is about permission. Permission to savor the quiet. Permission to reach out, or not, on your terms. Permission to reinvent, to stumble, to laugh at your own quirks. It's about letting go of the idea that loneliness is inevitable and grabbing hold of the truth that this chapter can be as rich and textured as any other. Think of it like gardening. You don't mourn the flowers that bloomed and faded. You plant new seeds. Some days you'll water them. Some days you'll just sit on the bench and admire how the light filters through the trees. Both are part of the dance. And that's the beauty of it. There's no right way to thrive. Only your way. Now, I'd love to hear your stories. What seeds are you planting these days? Maybe you've dusted off an old hobby, struck up a conversation with someone unexpected, or simply found peace in the rhythm of your mornings. Share it in the comments below. Let's create a garden of ideas together. Your journey might just be the nudge someone else needs to start theirs. And if this conversation resonated with you, do me a kindness. Tap that like button and subscribe. It's how we grow this little community of thriving souls. Every click is a hello across the fence, a shared nod between friends who get it. Before I go, let me leave you with this. The world might tell us that aging is about slowing down, but I say it's about opening up to new adventures, quiet joys, and the profound truth that you are enough, exactly as you are, exactly where you are. So here's to you, my friend, to mornings that greet you like an old song, to afternoons that stretch like a lazy cat, and to evenings that hum with the satisfaction of a day well lived. However you choose to thrive, remember, it's your story. And what a beautiful story it is.